October 13th through the 19th is International OCD Awareness Week. Now, roughly 2 to 3 million adults and 500,000 children in the United States currently have obsessive-compulsive disorder. To raise awareness of the illness, Sarah Breitbart Frischling shares her experience with OCD.
OCD, or obsessive-compulsive disorder, is when someone has an anxious thought that is constantly cycling in their mind. It's also called an obsession. And so the only way for that obsession to go away is to perform a task that relieves them of that anxious thought. So for example, people who are afraid of germs or contamination, they feel like they have to wash their hands, and then once they wash their hands, that's the task, their hands are clean and they feel good, you know? But then you're only relieved from that for a few minutes, maybe seconds. It really depends on the person. And then that obsessive thought comes back and you have to wash your hands again. And then the thought comes back and you do it again. And so it's basically, it's this constant, endless cycle of thoughts and tasks that you have to complete. The main thing that people don't understand about OCD is that it's not the sufferer's choice to do the compulsion. Our brain is programmed to have to do that. And people just think, you know, you're just afraid of germs, or you just want to check the door to be super safe. But really, we don't want to do that. We have to do that. Our brain is telling us to do that. When I was just 2 years old, I started having symptoms of OCD. And in 4th grade, my OCD got really bad as I started to become really afraid of germs and dirt and marker and anything that could contaminate me. One thing I did to cope with my OCD and my anxious thoughts was to protect myself with a sweatshirt. If I wore a sweatshirt that was long enough to cover my hands, I wouldn't have to wash my hands because I could just, you know, touch a table or a pencil through my sweatshirt and I would be fine because the sweatshirt would touch everything for me and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But obviously that got really bad in summer or just in general. I mean, I can't live my life through a sweatshirt. In 8th grade, I realized that one can fight against their OCD and they can overcome that. And ever since I found that out, I was determined to overcome my OCD because I knew that I couldn't live my life protected through a sweatshirt. I couldn't live my life with obsessively washing my hands or obsessively worrying about things that were totally silly. I started off really slowly with a lot of baby steps. I, slowly touched a table and then, waited 1, 2, 3, and then I washed my hands and it was fine. Whew. But then the next day, I'd come in and I would touch my hand and hold it for 3 seconds and then I'd wait and wash my hands then after that. And I started off really slowly, and for a good year and a half, that's all I did. I very slowly, I eased into overcoming it. But eventually, my steps became bigger, and eventually they turned into milestones. I started taking my big steps in overcoming my OCD as a sophomore in high school. I joined a lot of clubs that involved me touching things that I normally wouldn't touch. As time went on, I just kept touching more and more stuff, and I would wait an hour, maybe 2, and not wash my hands. And that was incredibly huge because I used to not be able to go without washing my hands for maybe 5 minutes. So being able to wait an hour with, dust or dirt or pencil on my hand was huge. One huge step that I did this year was wear a t-shirt to school. Ever since 4th grade, I wore a sweatshirt to school to protect myself from the germs, the people, the tape, just everything. I would protect myself. I'm a junior in high school now, and I can freely not wear a sweatshirt. I can choose to wear a sweatshirt, and I can choose not to. I used to never be able to choose. I would always have to put on a sweatshirt. I have made so much progress, and I'm really proud of myself because now I don't have to feel bound to my obsessive thoughts. I don't have to do the compulsions that my brain is telling me to do. And it's just an incredible feeling to be free. Like, I don't have to do something. I can choose whatever I want to do.